Alright, well, welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to talk a little bit about this beauty of a bike and why we chose it to be the highlight of the channel. So a lot of people think the R7 really doesn't deserve its name, but realistically, this is one of the best bikes you can buy if it's exactly what you're after. Taking out a beautiful California sunset tonight. Try to get on the freeway, get to the gas station, quick walk around, and then head back. But if an R7 is why you came to this channel, well, you're in the right place, and or you're curious about why people own one. And for the most part, the number one answer I get is, I don't want to go fast anymore. That's exactly what this bike does. A lot of people had R1s, you know, Ninja 1000s, and they just wanted to chill for a little bit, and that's exactly why I got this bike. You know, it's not the fastest bike in the world. I think it maxes out around 140-ish, but it's got plenty of power and everything you need for an everyday bike, and if you're just cruising, that's all you need. Now, my specific plan for this bike is to eventually turn into a track bike after getting some more experience on it. Now, top speed aside, the torque on this thing is pretty dang good. If you want to get up to speed, you can. Where this bike doesn't excel well is at the top end. So when you're trying to push for that 130 to 140 to that top end speed, you're going to be struggling a little bit there. But after you get there, depending if you even want to get there in the first place, you're pretty solid. I mean, this bike revs to all the way up to 10,000. And I came from an R6 where, you know, a little different, 4-cylinder versus we have a 2-cylinder here on this one, and way less horsepower produced. But honestly, when I was riding my R6, I didn't push that thing to its limits, which is why so many people love it to this day. And thinking from a practical perspective, you know, living in California, everything's extremely expensive, mainly insurance. When I was looking at new bikes, I was looking at Ducatis and BMW sports bikes. And even though, you know, I'm pretty much in my 30s now, no driver history, no accidents, no speeding tickets for the most part, I couldn't find a rate that didn't say, fuck off, we don't want to insure you, because California, for the most part, is a very expensive place to run your motorcycle. And it was all that combined, along with the purchase price of this bike, is half of that of a Ducati and a BMW, with insurance probably more than a fourth of the cost too to run a year. This is really all I needed and all I was looking for from a practicality aspect. I didn't need all the technology. This bike does not have anything else other than ABS and a semi-color tachometer. And with all that said, this is, I think, one of the most realistic daily sport bikes that you could possibly buy. Not because it is great at running at low speeds and through the city, unlike an R1 would be. It'd be pretty painful. But from a practicality perspective, in California, it just makes sense from money. But if you don't care about money, you know, feel free to look elsewhere. But that's one of the main reasons why this bike, I think, does so well here. Now we are a little lane split here in California. The mirrors on this bike, I mean, they're there. They don't really work, to be honest. But for the most part, you can get in between cars relatively easy. Some of these bigger intersections, I try to just chill at. We have some cars like this massive Escalade that I would not like to scratch because they are $150,000. Plus, just chill for a minute. That's all you need to do. This bike doesn't get hot. I had a Ducati Panigale before this one. Oh my god, that bike got so hot during summer, it was almost unrideable. Granted, I had it in Florida, but regardless, this bike runs pretty cool for the most part. I put almost 500 miles on it so far, so I really know what it feels like nowadays to push this bike from where it needs to go. And really, I have more fun on this bike than I ever did on any of my 1000cc bikes, because I can actually enjoy it. Now maybe that's a thing where you just get older and you just want to enjoy bikes instead of going top speed. For me, that was, one of the biggest decisions. I didn't need an R1 that went 180 miles per hour. I just wanted a bike that looked great, can go as fast as I need to on the highway, and can keep up for the most part in corners, and if I did want to turn it into a track bike, be a pretty damn good track bike. I'll just see you in a second here when you go onto the freeway. All the power you're gonna need, never struggling. My first bike was the Ninja 250, 15 plus years ago. And that bike, I was terrified about to go on the freeway. And I think that, the 300 series for the most part, I haven't driven one in a while, but, they are similar in that they're very hard to get up to the speed you want them to get to quickly. This bike, however, is zero problems. Or maybe you just want to go neutral and chill. Totally can. For me, this bike, especially when you're looking at the riding stance itself, it is super aggressive. It's super lean forward. The MTO7s, the naked versions of these bikes, are a lot more relaxed. And man, I think Yamaha nailed it. It has one of the best back ends that you could have on a motorcycle, in my opinion. Apart from spending double the price on a Ducati, this thing does everything I need it to do. It looks good. Sounds decent. The exhaust here, we only have so many options. But we can get to where we want to get to. Look, I'm in third gear, going 70. I don't need to go as fast as possible on this bike. I just needed to get me from point A to point B. Having fun, looking good, and being as reliable as possible. You really don't need that super high-end shit until we get to where we want to get to. About 90 is where I would shift to 6. After that, and I won't go that fast here because there's a huge cop corridor. This is exactly what you need to do. You want to be fast, you want to be nimble, you want to be seen. This bike fixes absolutely everything. I know YouTubers love shitting on this bike for being the R7 name, but realistically, like I said before, if you know what you're getting and what you want to get into, this is exactly the bike you need. I'm gonna take this exit quickly, just so we can get to the gas station and fill her up. Do a quick walk around the bike and just talk about the styling real quick and why I love it so much. Pretty much the lineup of all Yamahas are going to, for the most part, stay the same. The R1s have a little different styling package, obviously, because of the engine size and the exhaust tips and all. When you're looking at R3s and R6s, they'll pretty much have the same aspects to them, but damn, did Yamaha do these next-gen bikes out of the park. I'm very curious where they're going to go from here. I don't know if a bike can get much better looking than this, but who knows? Maybe they'll go back to the old school, bug headlights and or do something completely radical. You guys are wondering how I'm splitting perspectives between these two perspectives, and here it is. So Insta360 X5 on the back. Got a pretty crazy mount system here, but just wanted to make sure I didn't have to worry about it. I know the only part of this setup that really fails is this part breaks off here, but for the most part, pretty damn good setup. Now, styling on this bike. So obviously you got the decals, the color, the blue itself. It comes in a matte black, but when I was at the dealership, when someone was sitting on it and trying it out, that the matte black itself was peeling off. So if you know anything about matte cars, matte paint, it's nearly impossible to repair, but the blue, the Yamaha blue with this pearlescent kind of metallic paint really did it for me. And the one thing I do have to do on this bike is replace this tail section. I just haven't found time. It's not the easiest part. You got to take all the fairings off and then do it from there. But we did do the integrated taillights already in the front. These suckers were pretty much the first to go with them sticking out. So they look pretty good, I think. Turn on the hazards real fast. Super bright. These are TST Industries. The back will be TST Industries too. The front here, I mean, look at that. It is as aggressive as possible, and is pretty much one of the sexiest bikes that I see these days around here. the most part, you know, the exhaust is what it is. It's 700 cc's, but the horsepower isn't that high, and the exhaust regulations are just cracking on everywhere. I know, especially in the EU, the regulations are doing too hot, so they have it worse than us. But for the most part, we'll come to a little bit of a stop so we can see the rev up here from bottom to low. It's a decent sounding bike. A lot of people get full racing exhausts. They're not strictly legal here in California for the most part. However, if I did choose to go in the future, pretty easy to install. And then it just depends on the CHP officer that pulls you over if they really want to find you. But let's give it some revs, we'll get up to speed, and we'll get home. Alright, I am taking Mags to get back home and where I need to go for the rest of the night. If you guys have any questions about the R7, drop them in the comment below. I'm happy to reply, happy to debate, happy to, you know, praise this bike or talk shit about other bikes. Let me know. Be sure to like and subscribe, and see you guys in the next one. Peace.